get your popcorn ready as we talk about ball. Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, and it's on. Get your popcorn ready as we talk about ball. Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, and it's on. And it's on. And it's on.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and Angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. I've been thinking as to how our Dallas Cowboys can get back on the winning trajectory for this upcoming season as well as into the future. What has been holding our Dallas Cowboys back from achieving greatness? Not just making it to a Super Bowl and winning, but continuously hanging around the rim of a championship. So we're going to sit back and break down how I feel what's been hurting the Dallas Cowboys during the Mike McCarthy era and what could help the Dallas Cowboys during the Brian Schottenheimer era. I want to speak about the ways that Cowboys Nation views the quarterback position and how it could be hamstringing the way some of us fan, causing some of the fan base to try and infect others with negativity. I want to talk about how some fans interpret the quarterback position, the quarterback's responsibilities when it comes to the team, and how the 3 and 4 letter networks have programmed some of our fan base to root against our team's best interests. So let's get ready to break all this down during this episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast. Cowboys Nation, it has been a long 30-year drought. It's been a minute since the Dallas Cowboys fans have had the opportunity to celebrate our team after winning the championship. I mean, there's some Cowboys fans who haven't even witnessed our team win a Super Bowl in their lifetime. If you're 29 years old or younger, it just seems like the same old disappointments every single year. Y'all don't know what it's like to celebrate the Dallas Cowboys achieving the ultimate prize. There were talented teams that the Dallas Cowboys had that could have taken it all the way. Zach Martin is famous for saying this. For example, the 2007 iteration of the Dallas Cowboys, coached by Wade Phillips and led by Tony Romo. The 2009 season, 2014, 2016, that would eventually be led by Dak Prescott. Then 2018, 21, 22, and 23 respectively. During said time period, there were 3 different Dallas Cowboys coaches: Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett, and Mike McCarthy. Now ask yourself this, Cowboys Nation. Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns when it comes to the coaching of these 3 gentlemen? I know I did, and if you're being real with yourself, Cowboys Nation, you did as well. Whether it was a lack of holding players accountable, archaic schemes and philosophies, or clock management, a lack of discipline from players, or not knowing how to use teams' potential weaponry, Cowboys Nation has had a number of issues surrounding the coaching staff and how they prepare the players on the team. Now let's talk about the Mike McCarthy era, Cowboys Nation. When the announcement came that the Dallas Cowboys would be hiring Mike McCarthy, a lot of us had some optimism. Seeing that he was a Super Bowl winning head coach of the Green Bay Packers, I thought that Big Mike would come to the Dallas Cowboys with the same mojo that he used to win the Super Bowl in Green Bay. One thing I didn't take into consideration was the question: was it more Mike McCarthy's scheme, Aaron Rodgers' ability, or the combination of the two? It's hard to tell because after the Aaron Rodgers and Big Mike split, either one have been able to come close to replicating the success that they had previously. But when Big Mike became the Dallas Cowboys head coach, he won over Jerry Jones by telling him that he watched the majority of the Dallas Cowboys snaps from the 2019 season. It would come out that Big Mike was just telling Jerry Jones that in order to secure that head coach position. Strike 1 from Cowboys Nation. Strike 2 was the continued mismanagement of the game clock. There were times where Big Mike needed to call timeouts, but refrained in doing so, leaving fans and announcers baffled with the non-call. I also felt Big Mike would employ friends instead of coaches who knew the position and could get the best out of the players. This is why we see the devolution of the run game and poor decisions in run game calling. This is the reason why the offense would have to run through Dak Prescott solely. Why we would only go as far as Dak Prescott took us, in the infamous words of Jerry Jones. But But even with the Green Bay Packers, Mike McCarthy wanted that team to depend on Aaron Rodgers a hell of a lot. Big Mike wanted to be the one who crafted the offense, who got the credit for the offensive success in Green Bay. This is one of the reasons why him and Aaron Rodgers bumped heads during his tenure as the Cheeseheads head coach. Unfortunately for the Dallas Cowboys, he would bring that same mantra and philosophy down to the star. But during his first 2 years as the Dallas Cowboys head coach, he was told that Kellen Moore would be calling the plays, an offensive coordinator who the Jones family loved but had no rapport with Big Mike. Without being on the inside, Cowboys Nation knew that there was some tension brewing between Big Mike and Kellen Moore. Big Mike wanted to be the one who called the plays while Kellen Moore just hung out and held a clipboard, I guess. Mike McCarthy would go on to say that he wanted to run the ball more and Kellen Moore was more interested in racking up points on the scoreboard. Well, Big Mike would get his chance during the 2023 and 2024 season, and it wouldn't go well for him, with the 2023 season ending with him admitting that the players weren't properly prepared for the game. During the 2024 season, not only was his back against the wall, but a majority of his starters would go down to season-ending injuries. The most important positions would see a season-ending hamstring injury, leaving Big Mike to figure it out without his QB1. It's kind of ironic that he would start his tenure as the Dallas Cowboys head coach with his QB1 being out for the season. That's exactly how he would end his tenure as the Dallas Cowboys head coach. During all the drama between Big Mike and Kellen Moore, you had the Dallas Cowboys players hanging in the balance, kind of like kids during a big divorce between parents. Not only that, but Cowboys Nation would continuously witness Big Mike not knowing how to scheme players open, not using the run game properly, and continuously having Dak Prescott throw the ball more than 35 times a game. Everyone in Cowboys Nation knows that that is a recipe for disaster. Not only that, but to have a weapon like Brandon Cooks telling the media that he didn't know how to use him properly, that is an indictment on the coaching staff and their lack of creativity when it comes to the weapons on this team. All that, and with the turmoil behind the scenes, no team could equate to this success. Not one organization could equate success out of everything that was going on. Even if you have put together one of the best teams in franchise history, you will not get as far as you want to navigating through all types of drama off the field. The players can't make the main thing when the coaching staff and the front office can't do the same. But this puts all the pressure on the players to rise above and win in spite of. They have to win in spite of the coaching staff. They have to win in spite of the ownership, making some of the most conservative moves of any NFL team. Not using every tool afforded to them like aggression in free agency or in trade. These players realize that they're the only ones that are putting in everything that they have at the task at hand. And some fans wonder why a player like Dak Prescott has a deer-in-headlights look during a playoff game. He knew that the success of the team was on the team solely. But some fans think that Dak Prescott's sole responsibility is to raise the level of play for other players. I said this in my last video, Cowboys Nation. It's up to the coaching staff to be able to put Dak Prescott in the best situation to succeed, to come up with a great, yet innovative and deceptive game plan that uses every player's strength and not just a couple. So, speaking of Dak Prescott, this kind of segues into my next topic that I want to talk about, and that's what the quarterback goes through mentally pre and post snap. Well, Cowboys Nation, some fans sit on their couch and they just throw out these crazy takes when it comes to the quarterback position of the Dallas Cowboys. Some fans feel as if the quarterback position is the end-all be-all when it comes to success for this entire team, and that is far from the truth. This is something that the 3 and 4 letter networks have preached for years, and some take what they say as gospel. The 3 and 4 letter networks will go on their platforms and blame an entire loss on the quarterback position. They'll also praise the quarterback position in the event of a win, which I believe shouldn't happen, Cowboys Nation. There are 53 men on this team for a reason. And it's funny that some fans will talk like they've played the most important position and they haven't even played quarterback for a flag football team. They speak as if a Super Bowl is as easy as going down to your local grocery store and buying one. Doesn't work that way, Cowboys Nation. And I'll keep it a buck with you. You have to be cut from a different cloth in order to be the quarterback of a team. You have to be cut from an even greater cloth to be a quarterback in the NFL. To be the franchise quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, I can only imagine the immense pressure that they got to go through in order to succeed. The way some fans speak, the quarterback position should be the easiest position on the field. So let's go over what the quarterback has to do, and this is within the 35-second play clock. All right, Cowboys Nation, the coach sends the play into the game. The quarterback tells the huddle the play and the snap count. The receiver leaves the huddle and the quarterback repeats the play and the snap count. They break the huddle. Ready, break. At this moment, that's where the quarterback locates the defensive safeties and their location on the field. He then looks at the linebacker's location. Then the cornerbacks in their depth of coverage. They can either be in press coverage, they can be 5 yards off the receiver, they can be 10 yards off the receiver. Hey, they can be lined up on the inside shoulder or the outside shoulder or right in front of the receiver. If the quarterback is having difficulty in establishing whether the defense is in zone or man, he'll send a receiver in motion. Once this is established, the quarterback can either audible into a much more advantageous play that'll exploit that coverage or roll with the play that was sent to him by the coach. All this happens before the ball is even snapped, Cowboys Nation. And after the snap, the quarterback does his drop. He keeps his eyes down the field, trying to throw off the safety with his eyes while going through his progressions. Let me make this perfectly clear, Cowboys Nation. A quarterback can have 5 reads on the field, and said reads can be split right down the middle of the field. On one side, you have 3 reads, while on the other side, you have 2 reads. Just because the quarterback doesn't read all 5 reads doesn't mean that he doesn't know how to read a defense or go through his progressions. Remember, a quarterback only has 3 or 4 seconds of a clean pocket before it starts collapsing. It's not like Madden where someone can rush only 2 players while dropping 9 players into coverage. The NFL is not like that, Cowboys Nation. This is why a quarterback's intangibles are so important to have. His processing speed is super important to have. His football IQ needs to be on point. All this comes before any type of physicality of a play. All this is done before a quarterback even thinks of throwing the ball. And let's not act as if the pocket collapsing isn't a pressure cooker for quarterbacks, because it is. You have to be cool as a cucumber when you're in a space about the size of a phone booth, having 300-pound men ready to take your head off. And I know some of Cowboys Nation don't know how big a phone booth is, but it's pretty small. But the reason why I speak about what the quarterback has to go through is because some of the ones who continuously complain about Dak Prescott have absolutely no idea about the quarterback position and have probably never played the position at all. And the reason why I speak about what a quarterback has to go through is because some of the ones who continuously put the pressure on Dak Prescott have absolutely no idea about the position. They also speak as if a Super Bowl is easy to come by, like you're just grocery shopping or something. It doesn't work that way. There are so many moving parts to a football team and an organization, Cowboys Nation. So many moving parts that all contribute to a Super Bowl victory. It's not just the quarterback position. It's not just the front office. Many people have to work together in order to get that goal together. But the quarterback position is the most important piece on the offense. He sets the stage and the tempo of the offense. He conducts himself with class off the field, and while on the field, does everything in his power to help his team win. He also makes mistakes, Cowboys Nation. This is why football is the ultimate team sport, but you'll have fans diminishing and belittling the other important players on the team as if their contribution doesn't mean a damn thing. At the end of the day, these talking heads have them believing that only the quarterback position matters. It may require the most out of a player. It might be the highest paid position in the league. That doesn't mean that winning and losing is solely the quarterback's responsibility. That winning and losing only affects the quarterback position. If that was the case, then wins and losses wouldn't be recorded under a wide receiver stat line. It wouldn't be recorded under a left guard stat line. Winning and losing is important to the entire team, Cowboys Nation. But I truly feel this mentality hurts our team more than it helps our team. With the logic of the 3- and 4-letter networks having peddled this to the majority of Cowboys Nation and football fans, they would have you believe that 10 players on the offense don't have to do a damn thing, that it's all up to the quarterback position to win the football game. Could you imagine a team thinking that way? That the other 10 players on the offense don't have to put 100% in because, hey, the quarterback got us. He's going to be putting 100% in, so why should we? In a team sport, what type of sense does that make, Cowboys Nation? I don't care what the 3 and 4 letter networks tell you. It takes everyone on that damn team to play at their best in order to get the best results. With that being said, Cowboys Nation, are the players completely absolved of responsibility and accountability when they play bad? No, they're not. Everyone's going to have to play their best football in order to compete at a high level, to be competitive within the NFL, much less in a deep playoff run. Dak's going to have to come back from injury and play lights out. With no extra help coming for CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, it's going to be up to Jalen Tolbert to play his best football during his contract year. He's going to have to put it all on the line and put to rest this whole wide receiver 2 talk. He's going to have to make that leap that a lot of Cowboys Nation hopes that he can make. Do I feel that he can do it? Sure, Jalen Tolbert can do it. But people tend to get it twisted as if Cowboys fans don't want Jalen Tolbert on the team and fans don't support him. Well, Cowboys Nation, just because you were drafted at a spot by the previous administration doesn't mean that this next coaching staff can't use you in a different position. With adding a player like Amari Cooper in free agency and having Jalen Tolbert play the wide receiver 3 position, why would that be considered not supporting Jalen Tolbert? Y'all don't know how many people have accused me of not supporting other players like I support Dak Prescott. I honestly think it's just so commenters and naysayers can debate about something. I've been entertaining that negativity for far too long. All that's about to come to an end, Cowboys Nation. But anyhow, the reason why I decided to talk about this during this week's episode is because it's extremely important for this team and organization to all be on one accord. They have to be a unit, and that can't only happen during game day, and it's not up to just one person to have that thought. Everyone has to have that thought. Everyone has to have that camaraderie in order to work together as a unit. But this brings me to another topic that I want to speak about, and that's a part of Brian Schottenheimer's press conference. During said press conference, Brian Schottenheimer mentioned that he shuffled up the locker room. He made people change lockers and stuff. So let's go ahead and take a listen to the clip from the press conference so we can come back and talk about it. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
We moved some guys around. This year I did, along with the help of the staff. Again, they don't really get a say in that. But there's a method to the madness. I think when the guys went into the team room for the first time, I made them all stand up after they sat down. I let them sit down, and I had them stand up, and I had them move seats. Why? It's a new year. It's 2025. We'll do that in 2026. We'll do that in 2027 and beyond. I think it's just when you start a new year, do something different. Change something up. So it's something that's talked about, thought about, but there's a method to the madness at times.
Well, Cowboys Nation, there is a method to the madness at times. And I don't think Good Morning Football understood what Brian Schottenheimer's message was in relocating players. They spoke about this and how the Dallas Cowboys tend to not impress during the offseason. How the Dallas Cowboys are just plain old meh. So we're going to take a listen to the 2 clips that I got for y'all, and y'all know what we're going to do. Gonna come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, Angry Cowboys fans, let's take a listen to the first clip from the crew of Good Morning Football.
Musical chairs is cute. It's my understanding is that afterwards each player had to stand up, say their name, their position, and their favorite food. So right. I am Dak Prescott, and I like pizza. And hi, Dak. That's how it went. All right, you asked the question, I'll give you an answer. The 2025 Cowboys have me feeling nothing. Nothing. And let me explain why. They are by far the least interesting team in their division. By far. 4th out of 4. And I don't know if that's ever been true in my entire life. Even the Dave Campo era had more sizzle than this team does. Even smaller market teams right now are headlights and neon compared to America's team. The Titans are way more interesting. The Jaguars are way more interesting. The Dallas Cowboys coaching hire was not a bold choice. It was sensible. The Dallas Cowboys first-round draft pick was not a bold choice. It was practical. The not paying Micah storyline is a rerun of an episode we've seen 10 times from this team. The quarterback, is the quarterback. He'll be very good, not great, say the right things, and get paid, and we'll do it again next year. The most interesting thing that has happened in the last calendar year for the Dallas Cowboys, and I don't even think it's close, is the owner's breathtaking cameo in a television show called Landman, which was beautiful, amazing, and really sad that was the most dynamic thing we've seen. They are currently like the Tupperware of teams. It's just something you have, you don't think about it, you don't care about it, you put the spaghetti in, you put it in the fridge, you have no attachment to it at all. It just serves a practical need of being one of the teams in the NFC East. I think the Cowboys fans themselves are passing the time grumbling about number 2 receivers, cursing Jaden Daniels, hoping Jackson Dart isn't as good as he is, and praying that the Eagles are gentle this year because they weren't last year. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not feeling anything negative about the Cowboys. I just feel numb. I feel nothing. And I dare you to find me you feel anything at all.
You don't feel negative about the Dallas Cowboys, but all you do is spit negativity right now. But it is real. I'll keep it a buck. It is real. But how are you supposed to feel? How are the Dallas Cowboys supposed to make you feel? When they have you excited, they get you all worked up, you give them the business when they let you down. I really wonder what people expect from the Dallas Cowboys. Do they really expect Jerry Jones to go out there and spend exorbitant amount of money on free agents to buy the most expensive free agents that are out there? Y'all know that's not going to happen, Cowboys Nation. Now let's go ahead and get into the second clip that I got for y'all so we can get into this raw and uncut.
Yeah, this team is only going to go as far as Dak Prescott takes them. I know Jerry Jones has historically said that, but at the end of the day, they need a run game. And that's what's so important about having Schottenheimer. If you remember Brian Schottenheimer, when he was with the Jets, man, the Jets had a good offensive line, a good run game, and a defense to back him up. I think that's what he's trying to install. Overall, man, Dak is getting older, right? CeeDee Lamb is doing all he can in his body to be the best receiver he can for the Cowboys. What has to happen is we need more production out of tight end position. We need a running back that can promote and kind of sell this offense. You talk about all the good teams in the league who have a running back like the Green Bay Packers, like the Philadelphia Eagles, like you can even go to Detroit and what their 2-headed dogs they have back there. What you need for the Dallas Cowboys is they need an identity. They need kind of a makeover, and nobody knows what that is. And so if you're Jerry Jones and company, you have to get more dogs in the building that can really get this offense going in a positive way. Because when I look at this team right now, and I'm with Kyle, you don't feel anything because they haven't given you anything to feel.
I mean, he's right there, Cowboys Nation. You can't really feel anything because the Dallas Cowboys haven't given us anything to feel. No diddy. But he said it in this whole clip. This team will only go as far as Dak takes us, but then he goes on talking about that the Dallas Cowboys need a running back and they need a tight end. Man, Lord have mercy, Cowboys Nation. Y'all ready for this raw and uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. Okay, Cowboys Nation. I kinda agree with the last clip. The Dallas Cowboys have suffered from a lack of identity for a number of years. Back when we won our last Super Bowl, the Dallas Cowboys were known as that ground and pound, that physical type of football team. Since Mike McCarthy took over the team, the Dallas Cowboys have been a team without an identity. Sure, they were able to take the ball away with interceptions, but we weren't a physical type of team. If the Dallas Cowboys had any type of identity, it was the identity of being front runners. With Brian Schottenheimer, I feel this team is going to be a different football team, Cowboys Nation. That an identity will be established during this season and will remain the identity during the duration of the Schottenheimer era. You can look at the Seattle Seahawks when Brian Schottenheimer was the offensive coordinator and see how important the run game was for that football team's success. You can look at the New York Jets when Brian Schottenheimer was the OC and how physicality played a role in their success. He's going to bring that same type of physicality to the Dallas Cowboys. But one thing that makes me scratch my head is the fact that people don't understand what Brian Schottenheimer was doing when he made the players switch lockers, when he made the players stand up and sit down at his command. This was Brian Schottenheimer establishing his dominance over the player personnel. Something as small as having him stand up and sit down at his command establishes a hierarchy when it comes to the player personnel. It also shows you who is willing to follow his lead, who respects Brian Schottenheimer's authority. Let's say that you had a player that made a fuss about changing lockers. You can now assess that player. Is he going to be the squeaky wheel? Is he going to deserve the grease for the squeaky wheel? Is the player that makes the fuss one of the pillars of the team? Is Brian Schottenheimer going to have an issue with said player? From what I understand, everyone had no problem with it and moved to their assigned lockers. But the crew of Good Morning Football said that it wasn't important, and why would you have a defensive lineman next to the quarterback? Maybe you want to have your leaders of the team around each other. Maybe Brian Schottenheimer wants to establish that hierarchy within the locker room. Just because the crew of Good Morning Football doesn't understand his philosophy doesn't mean that his philosophy is wrong, Cowboys Nation. But the crew also talked about the Dallas Cowboys being a bland organization, as if the Cowboys have to wow everyone with every move that they make. I'm sorry, but I want this team to be as even keel as possible. I want this team to move at their pace and not worry about impressing any type of talking head out there. I don't want the Dallas Cowboys to go out there and talk all kinds of talk. I want them to come out on the field. I want them to dominate, and that dominance be displayed out on the field. Let's not talk about it, Cowboys Nation. Let's be about it. What? Real talk, Cowboys Nation? I got a good feeling about Brian Schottenheimer and the coaching staff for the Dallas Cowboys. I believe there's something cooking at the Star, and it's going to taste real good, Cowboys Nation. It may not be a Super Bowl at this moment, but it could be in the future, and only time will tell. All right, Cowboys Nation, y'all know how I end these episodes at the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast. I pick a couple comments from the comment section, and I give you my raw and uncut on it. So, the first comment comes from Justin Brown 4045. The comment reads, at Angry Cowboys Fan, who? You asked for specifics to prove your points. Nobody says he isn't good or a villain or a monster. He is critiqued, and that's not a crime. Well, Justin Brown, you are absolutely right. It's not a crime to critique any player on this team. It's just where your criticisms come from. Where your critique comes from. Is it coming from a place of honest criticism? Or is it coming from destroying that player, trying to put that player down? Because when we talk about Dak Prescott, there's a lot of people out there that give criticism, but that gives destructive criticism. If you've been following the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel and you've been following my videos, you will know that there are two different forms of criticism. Constructive criticism and destructive criticism. When you come to the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel only to destroy and take down these players, then yes, I have a problem with it. And you say that Dak Prescott's not a villain, but to some in Cowboys Nation, he is a villain, and he is being treated as such. So it's not going to go down here at the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel. We are going to give critiques to these players, but we are not going to tear them down. We're especially not going to tear the QB1 down. If we're going to give criticism, it's going to be constructive. If you want to give destructive criticism, then that's not what we do here. But I'm pretty sure there's other content creators that enjoy that destructive criticism. But what we try to do here at the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel is we try to build on these players. We try to build them up. That's why I have live streams saying, let's build, Cowboys Nation, not let's tear down. These guys are never above reproach. I want you to know that they're never above reproach, but I'd be damned if I'm going to get on this platform just to tear somebody down. And people could say that, oh, well, y'all tear down Jalen Tolbert. No, I'm looking for Jalen Tolbert to make that leap. I'm looking for Jalen Tolbert to prove everybody wrong and to be that solidified wide receiver too. That's what I'm looking from Jalen Tolbert. What I am looking for from Dak Prescott is exact same thing that I'm looking for from the other 52 men that's going to be on this active roster. But, Justin Brown, I appreciate you rocking with the channel. Appreciate you whenever I put out a Dak Prescott video, you comment on it. But I would like to see you comment on more videos. You don't have to be the contrarian. We can definitely have reciprocity, a back and forth when it comes to our Dallas Cowboys. So once again, I thank you for your comment, and I thank you for being DC for life. All right. Now, the next comment comes from Bruce Wayne 1. The comment reads, "Hell yeah, bro. We need a come to Jesus moment with these zombies, LOL." And what Bruce Wayne 1 is talking about is I put something up in the community tab. It was a picture of zombies wearing Dallas Cowboys hats. And I was pretty much saying, don't be affected by the zombies. Don't be affected about their negativity. And I will preach that until the cows come home, Cowboys Nation. I don't want you guys to be persuaded or swayed either way whenever a zombie comes to try to attack you. These people do not like Dak Prescott. And the thing is, they will say that, well, it's nothing personal against Dak Prescott. But when you look for a person to fail, when you want a person to fail and you laugh at said failure, it's personal, Cowboys Nation. When Dak Prescott takes that field, and some people have even said that we can't wait until Dak Prescott gets hurt. I'm sorry, but that needs a come to Jesus moment. That's like the Philadelphia Eagles laughing at the fact that Michael Irvin broke his neck on their field. That's like a Philadelphia Eagles fan picking on Dak Prescott because he lost his mom. You know what I'm saying? We got to be better than that, Cowboys Nation. We have to be better than that. We have to build up our players. Every single one of our players that are on this team, from Dak Prescott to Tyler Guyton and to Mozzie Smith and Jalen Tolbert, we have to lift these guys up to want to give it their all. We can't just wait on Dak Prescott to give it his all while everybody just chillax. Nah, we can't do that. They have to put every bit of play that they have out on that field and leave it out on that field once the final whistle blows. But I wish that these zombies would have a come to Jesus moment, because I get kind of sick and tired of talking about the exact same thing in my comment section. I get tired of having to defend our QB1 from fans of the team. It's just crazy. So for those that don't appreciate what Dak Prescott brings to this team, that doesn't like Dak Prescott or his play, just know that the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel supports its QB1, no matter if it's Dak Prescott, no matter if it's Joe Milton, no matter if it's Tony Romo, no matter if it's Ernie from Sesame Street. We have our QB1s back. And if you don't like it, you know, the front door is where the front door is. Don't let it hit you where the good Lord split you. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. Cowboys Nation, what did you feel about this episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast? What do you feel about what Brian Schottenheimer or the crew of Good Morning Football had to say? Y'all know how we get down. We always talk about it in the comment section. But if you're digging this content and want to help the Angry Cowboys Fan reach its goal of 10,000 subscribers, drop a like on this video and please consider sharing it with anybody that you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan. We're almost at that goal. All we need is about 250 subscribers and we have hit it. But if you are DC for life and you got a feeling that something is cooking at the Star and you believe that Brian Schottenheimer is the chef of that recipe, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, film breakdown, or Madden 25 or College Football 25 gameplay. Cowboys Nation, your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, will be up in the air going down to North Carolina tomorrow. I'm going to be releasing this full episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast tomorrow while I'm in travel, so you guys still have some of that classy Cowboys content. And don't fret, don't worry, because when I'm at Rick's house, I will definitely be still giving y'all that raw and uncut as only the Angry Cowboys Fan can do. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, and I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.